Welcome to today's weekly live Industry 4.0 Q&A. I'm here with Walker Reynolds. I'm Zach Scriven, your host. Welcome to 4.0 Solutions. Walker, how you doing today?
I am blessed as I am every day. I'm excited to join the crew today.
So we've got the chat pulled up on the side. We are live a little bit early. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell because we go live every week at Tuesday, noon Central. Here to answer your questions. Hey, Anders. Hey, Michael.
Ahoy to Dan Riken, Mario Ishikawa, Alan Duvall, Anders Gustav, and Michael Dowdell. I would say hi to those guys because they were there first and they commented first. Hey, Cheryl. How's it going? Good to see you. All right.
I've got my Walker Reynolds mug today.
I have a rant to go on today, gang. So,
Hey, Josh.
and yeah, I've got a rant I'm gonna go on.
But first, join the Discord if you're not already. Links on the screen or links below.
Okay. Good to see you, David Schultz. Yeah, I'm gonna go on a rant, and oh crap! I just noticed that my screen back there, I have the background is for the Adversity and Success channel. It's not the.
Speaking of that, we actually got feedback on that. Jeff Rankinen said that he was like showing it to his students, and there was at one point where it kind of came in like it's like smoke going into water, right? Is what it is.
Yeah, it's
well,
like
it kind of came in and it sort of looked like Jeff Bezos' rocket ship for a minute there, and he was like, I guess it sort of made him uncomfortable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he asked if we could change it or get one that doesn't make it look like
it's just like a 4K thing on YouTube playing back.
I didn't notice it, but he's like.
So anyway, sorry for the screen back there because that's normally I have.
So what is adversity and success? For those who don't know, while we're still getting started here.
So this community knows that I wrote a book, and the book it's being edited right now. It's completed, and then I'll have to do rewrites like next month. And I think the title of the book is Adversity and Success. I wrote the prologue. I did the epilogue as well. The Adversity and Success is just another YouTube channel that we launched that's it accompanies the book itself, and that's all it is. And each week we're doing a video that covers basically one of the chapters in the book, and then we're just sort of shooting Zach, based on comments and stuff I'm shooting. So I'm shooting responses to comments and stuff. But yeah, that's the Adversity and Success. But it doesn't have anything to do with industrial automation or anything like that. It's a higher level thing where I talk about values and that kind of jazz. All right, so let's any questions from the community before I started share my screen. Well, I probably won't share my screen. I'll just go through. Actually, I'll share my screen. Any questions from the community before I get started? Specifically on, did everybody here watching here get a chance to watch the Supply Chain 4.0 presentation last week that we did in lieu of the live Q&A? Sorry that it was 2 hours, but that's what they paid us to do. And was that valuable? Like, was that that keynote that I gave, in your opinion, if you watched it, is it a keynote that other people should see? So let's start with that, and then I'm going to go into my rant. I'm going to be talking about Emerson today, if you guys want to know.
Yeah, it's definitely best listened to like as if it were a podcast, because obviously I didn't have the proper camera setup. It was sort of a wide shot. You couldn't really see what you were presenting. Right. For those of you guys that didn't know, what he was presenting was really just like bullet points. So if you just listen to what he's saying, that's where you're going to get the most takeaway.
Okay. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and share my screen. Let me make sure.
And Brant said he needs to rewatch. Someone said you're a great storyteller. They liked how you, integrated your stories to make your points.
I wonder if that is. It's a good thing, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, he just watched the introduction. Dwayne Zimmerman, thank you. All right. Sorry, guys.
Oh, quick. Well, we'll get into the sponsors in a minute.
Okay. Where is? I've got to share this over. Sorry, guys.
We've got some pretty good questions today. A couple came in on Discord. Someone sent me a DM about a particular question we're going to answer today. So
real quick, I just want to say thank you to Canary Labs, who they are our sponsor. I'll put their logo in here. A couple of things, if you guys didn't know, Canary Labs is a sponsor for the month of October. I've had a relationship with Jeff Nepper, who is I think he's the vice president of business development, years and years ago. So the story about Canary Labs, it's actually a really good one. I think it was at CSIA 3-4 years ago. I met Jeff maybe 4 years ago, and I had been high on their historian, on Canary Labs historian, for a couple of years. And I had actually been thinking, man, inductive automation really ought to scrap their historian, because I'm not a big fan of it. And they should, embed Canary Labs historian. And so we had meetings and stuff there while we were there I was trying to make the case and stuff. And anyway, with inductive automation and that's where the relationship with Canary Labs really blossomed. And if you look at over the last 4 years, Canary was already a very successful enterprise historian as an organization, but the guys at Canary have a lot of vision. They want to have a positive impact. They're a faith-based organization as well, God-fearing folks, and they want to have a positive impact on the world. They're not just pure capitalists, and which, if you're a pure capitalist, that's great, as long as you tell people you're a pure capitalist. Like, there's nothing more annoying in the world than someone pretending to be values-based when their values are, let me get as much money from you as I possibly can. So anyway, we started the relationship with Canary last year, or a couple of years ago, and we basically use Canary Labs historian in every single one of our implementations. I can't think of
there we go.
An
Got the
architecture.
logo.
Yeah, an architecture that doesn't have Canary Labs in the implementation. So just some announcements. We broke 13,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Woo woo.
We're well over 2,700 members in Discord, and big thanks to Canary Labs. So I'm going to start with I have a rant that I want to go on. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second, Zach. All right. Over the last year and a half or so, maybe 2 years, we've been hired by multiple organizations to do what is known as a peer review of large OEMs' digital transformation roadmap assessments. So if you look, Rockwell Automation does this. They'll come in, they'll do a roadmap, 7 point, 8 point, whatever. Emerson will do it. I'm going to talk about Emerson today specifically. Siemens does it. Deloitte does it. McKinsey does it. Everybody does it, right? And a lot of times people will ask me, why can't I go with, why is it, Walker, you say, Walker, don't, you need an agnostic provider to do your assessment, to evaluate your organization, plot where you are, and, create a strategy and architecture and plot your path forward. Okay. Why is it I can't just go to Emerson, for example, or go to Rockwell, or go to Siemens, or whoever, and have them do it for me? And I'm going to tell you why right now. So if you know anybody who works for Emerson, I'm about to eviscerate them. So this should be funny. But let me go ahead and share my screen again. All right.
Yeah, add it here.
There we go. All right. So if you look here, and did an announcement a couple of years ago on this digital transformation roadmap. Let me zoom in.
Yeah, that helps. Thank you, sir.
All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and read the first paragraph and then about this. So I have evaluated they have this digital transformation roadmap, and I have done a peer review of their roadmaps probably at least a half dozen times now. Their roadmaps are basically identical. If you look at their roadmap for customer A and compare it to customer B, it's like 99% the same. You know, the only thing that really changes, they have a section called business cases, and the business cases are unique. But basically everything else is exactly the same, right? But I want to point out, this is the specific problem with using Emerson's digital transformation roadmap. And every time I do one of these peer reviews, I have to say the same thing to the customer who has hired us to evaluate it. And they won't just hire us to evaluate Emerson's. We've evaluated many of them. I'm not every large OEM who does this, they do it the same way. So we're going to use Emerson as the example, but this applies to all the big ones too. And since I pick on Rockwell Automation all the time, whatever. So in 2018, they released a press release that said, Emerson today announced a digital transformation roadmap with consulting and implementation services to help companies develop and execute a tailored digital transformation plan to reach top quartile performance. Translation, we have a new product to sell you. Paragraph 2, the manufacturing industry is focused on digital transformation, leveraging new technologies to boost operational performance. But there's no consensus on how to get there or what success looks like. That's horseshit. There is consensus. The problem is companies like Emerson are muddying the waters. There is consensus. There is a path to successfully digitally transforming an organization, okay, and using a technology-driven approach, okay? And there are many, many, many examples. There's no consensus among the legacy OEMs on how to do it because they're all fighting to monetize it using their own ecosystem, right? So fuck off, Emerson, all right? With industry standard, it's hard for companies to know whether they are on the right track or when they've arrived. The irony here is when we talk about industry standards, the standards themselves are written by the OEMs who are going to benefit or going to profit from them directly. Case in point, OPC UA. This is part of the reason that, reading the OPC UA standard is, it's a more painful experience than a root canal while someone's kicking you in the head. I mean, it's less utilitarian, right? It's organizations like Microsoft and Rockwell and all of the big beasts they're infighting in all of those committees to make sure that whatever's put into the standard is going to benefit their organization the most, include specifically their existing products, okay? When Emerson says, hey, because there's no industry standard, the reason there's no industry standard is because companies like Emerson muddy the waters, and I got a gazillion examples of that, all right? Operations technology, OT, and information technology leaders are often siloed, not collaborating toward one central mission to achieve digital transformation. I agree with everything except for achieve digital transformation. Digital transformation isn't something you achieve. It's a fucking strategy. How many times do I have to say this? Digital transformation is not a destination. Okay? I literally read this. So let's say you work for organization A, B, or C, and all of a sudden someone says, carte blanche, we're going to digitally transform. Okay? And you go, okay, well, what the hell's that? I don't know. I went to this conference to talk about digital transformation. We should leverage technology to improve our operations or whatever. Digitally transform us. All right, so what is digital transformation? Oh, okay. Oh, all I'm doing is taking things that are in paper and turn them into... No, that's not all of it. Yeah, you're going to digitize some shit. Oh, I'm going to collect some data. Yeah, you're going to do that too. Oh, I'm going to use some networks. Yeah, I'm going to do that too. But let's remember what the goal of digital transformation is. It's the manufacturing holy grail, okay? That is a complete closed loop operation, including a unified, integrated digital supply chain. Okay, so what I presented last week, the supply chain argument last week, it's a manifestation of your initial digital transformation initiative. Okay, if I don't get the plant floor digital transformation right, not just the use cases and the business cases, but if I don't get the technology and the architecture correct, then I can't connect that infrastructure into a larger infrastructure. And I need that larger infrastructure to leverage things like machine learning across plants, artificial intelligence across plants, optimizing scheduling, logistics, optimizing my supply chain, reducing lead times, reducing costs. I can't do those things unless I have the building blocks to do it. And those building blocks are all built on these basic principles of digital transformation, right? You got to have the right strategy, you got to have the right partners, you got to use the right technology, okay? When I read Emerson's documents, okay, when I read their documents in their digital transformation roadmap, there's never a fucking mention of a strategy. There is never a mention of technology. There's not a technology architecture they recommend. What they propose is digitization of existing paper business systems that create more data silos, okay? And then they give you this little chart to say, here's where you are against the rest of industry. It's not the rest of industry. It's against the rest of Emerson customers. That's it. Their sample set is our only people who use Emerson technology. But yet they tell their customers this is all of industry. It's a fucking lie. It is a lie. Okay? It drives me insane. Okay? So they say this thing at the end, right? Our customers have different starting points and levels of maturity when it comes to evaluating and implementing digital transformation strategies, says so-and-so at Automation Solutions. Emerson's proven digital transformation approach provides the ultimate flexibility while pinpointing the optimum path for each customer based on their objectives, readiness, and overall digital maturity. Okay. Emerson does not have a proven digital transformation approach. That's horseshit. That's also a lie. Emerson may have a proven digitization approach. I can help you digitize this thing, this paper thing into this digital solution. I can tell you how to, aggregate your alarms here into this database, and I can show you how to aggregate your alarm definitions into this other database, and I can show you how you can buy this analytics tool that's only going to talk to this one piece of EHS software. But there's never a discussion in Emerson's roadmap on how to put all those things together. There's never a discussion on what the digital strategy is. There is never a discussion on what technology you should use. There is never a discussion about how the data is unified, how the business is structured, how the events are monitored, how the larger data, that is the data we're going to take up to the enterprise level, is normalized, okay, and accessed. There's also never a strategy for how you're going to use their digital transformation recommendation, their business cases, to solve future problems. All they do is list business cases and say, do these things. Let's do that use case. And every time I review an Emerson roadmap or a Rockwell roadmap or a Siemens roadmap or a Deloitte roadmap or you name it, okay, enter in other company, they're all the same. There's no discussion of strategy. There is no discussion of technology. There is no discussion of unification of data. There is no discussion of the future. It's a list of fucking projects. Projects that they want you to do and use the stuff that they got to sell to you for. That they pick the projects that they have products to sell for. Okay? I am sick and tired of organizations who should be taking a lead. They're not taking a lead. They're looking for opportunities to exploit through misinformation. And I don't want to use the term misinformation. They're looking for an opportunity to exploit their existing install bases by providing literally excrement. That's what this is. It's excrement. And no wonder all we have is a long list of clients who are calling us saying, we're confused. We spent $250,000 on X. We spent $250,000 on Y. And we got basically a list of things we need to spend more money on. And we still don't understand how spending money on those things is going to solve our bigger vision, which is, at the end of the day, a unified digital supply chain and a closed loop manufacturing process that leverages machine learning and artificial intelligence to optimize on the fly. I want to go back to one big thing here. So they say manufacturing industry is focused on digital transformation. They say the manufacturing industry is focused on digital transformation, leveraging new technologies to boost operational performance. That is not what manufacturing is doing. I'm going to give Zach some credit here. Elon Musk did Elon Musk did a, he did the earnings call. Was last week, right? End of last week or whatever.
Yeah.
So Elon Musk did the Tesla's earnings call. And in a nutshell, if you didn't watch, basically just highlighted, you want to know what our competitive advantage is in the market? It's manufacturing. Yeah, as much as you guys think it's the technology, it's the software, it's not. It's the way we manufacture. And how do they manufacture?
It's their digital strategy.
It's their digital fucking strategy. And if you look at the Industry 4.0 distribution, that is for the most digital companies on the planet. Tesla is literally number one in the sample set. If you look at the top 3 companies, it's like Tesla, Amazon. I don't know who number 3 is, but I know Volkswagen is like in the top 8. Volkswagen, by the way, of the top 8 companies, Volkswagen is the only company that's a legacy organization. That is an Industry 3.0 organization. They're the only, if you want to know how do you digitally transform from Industry 3.0 to Industry 4.0 using a digital strategy, Volkswagen's the example because Volkswagen is the highest in the sample set. Let me
So you guys learned a new acronym today, DFS.
DFS. Sorry, guys. I'm all fired up today. So Michael Dowdell said he wants to talk about a pandemic. Let's talk about the lack of ethics in the old line industrial. I mean, these guys do shit most 8-year-olds know is wrong. Correct. You're spot on 100%. I have a story where my company was highlighted and the misrepresentation was incredible. It was a project that I was involved in. I knew the OEM's actual participation and the results. It completely destroyed their credibility with me. Yeah, 100%. And if you guys had, one of the questions I'm going to answer today in the Q&A comes from that, industry, what is it? The Industry 4.0 thing. There was a video we shot about industry, how industry's changing. Yeah, how is it changing? So, all right, with that, that's my Phil Scruggs, appreciate you for calling out and identifying where real value is added, and more importantly, helping to clarify where a roadmap with no tangible info is not adding value. Yeah. Flames Basketball said Supply Chain 4.0 is good except the language. You mean me swearing? That part? Hopefully
you did catch yourself once. But I will say the event coordinator who hired you to speak,
she actually told me to just keep doing. Yeah.
She went out of her way. I'm glad you were you, basically.
Yeah. In fact, just so you guys know, when I came off the stage after that keynote and I went and talked to our actual customer, she was in tears. I actually thought like someone in her family had passed away or something. And she was just that happy with what we had done in the keynote. And she said, thank you for being you. That's what she said. And so
it was a great conference.
It obviously felt really, really good. Okay, let me go ahead and move this here, and then I'm going to go ahead and get into the questions. Unless you guys have another question you want me to answer. I've seen the inside as well. It's not good. Business wolves and sheep's cloning. Yep. All right, here we go.
Why do you curse, by the way? Authenticity? Same reason as Gary Vee?
Yeah, it's who I am. I mean, I think in, I think in curses. But I mean, like a couple of other examples, like when I was a kid, my parents used to say, and they didn't curse a lot, but they did, and, but they would tell us we couldn't, we'd wash our mouth out with soap or whatever. Right. And I said, why can't we curse? And they said, because I said so. And as I got older, I just never understood like why you would tell people they can't curse, because language is a really powerful thing, and curses used effectively can get people's attention like that. I mean, you can smack someone in the face, you can insult them, you can flatter them, you can hug them. You can also swear at a strategic point in a message that you're sharing to get people's attention, and I choose to do that.
Yeah. Well, why don't could we start with this one real quick? Just, take it from the top, just.
Yeah, absolutely.
At a high level, what is a UNS?
A unified namespace is the structure and events of your business. It's a single source of truth and its current state. It's what you have right now. It's really simple. Think of a unified namespace, UNS equals unified namespace, as a real-time file share for your business that has all data and information that you need. So, for example, imagine I went to a folder, and that folder said, parent company, enterprise company, and then inside of there I had a list of business units, and I double-clicked on the folder for business unit A, and then inside of there I had a list of plants inside that business unit, and I could double-click on the plant, and inside of there I'm going to have more folders, and I'm also going to have events. And the events could be things like the OEE of that facility right now. What's the current schedule of that facility? What's the most profitable asset in that facility? Think of it that way. And then if I want to drill down deeper, I see a low OEE number for that facility. I could click into one of the areas, and I could see the OEE there. That's what a unified namespace is. It's the way your business is structured, and it's all of the events of the business. And anything I'm looking at in a unified namespace at any given time is the value right now. And there's many, many reasons why you want to use a unified namespace instead of the digital thread, which is what companies like Emerson and Rockwell and Microsoft and Siemens, they're all selling that, which is, deterministic, take instruments from the edge, and I'm being deterministic. That instrument's going all the way up to the cloud as opposed to gathering all the context it could as it's moving up your automation stack. But the unified namespace is the structure and all of the events. And everything that we teach about how to digitally transform an organization is built around that technology. The thing that's missing in Emerson's digital transformation roadmap, which is garbage, absolute garbage, and I want someone from Emerson to come on here and prove me wrong, which they won't. But, I'm happy to have him on here. I'm actually going to tell another story here in a second. What's missing is what tech are you going to use? How are you going to organize the data? How are you going to make sure we don't leave any data behind? How are you going to make sure that we can scale it out? That is, as we add new information and new data, we can scale it. And, how can that be part of our much bigger digital strategy? And how can we use minimum technical requirements to make sure that all the new stuff our employees buy down the road is going to fit into this infrastructure? There's no discussion of that. All it is a list of projects. Hey, and we've got products we can sell to you to do those projects. That's how they're focused. So I want to go back to one other thing real quick before I start answering the questions. So you guys may have noticed that we posted a video, which was the Discord. Zach, what did you end up calling it, where we had the game show things?
Yeah, the IIoT shootout. But for some reason, there's an issue with that video right now. I don't know why, but
all right, so where it freezes apparently, but the audio keeps going, right?
I'm not sure, but I'll get it posted on our podcast so you can at least listen to it.
All right, so that is me. That video is me going through and responding to a very long thread on the Discord server in the IIoT channel, and there's a guy named Rick Bellata who. Rick Bellata, who's he's a really famous guy in the industry, now, former CTO at Wonderware. He developed, he's one of the original principals at ThingWorks. He was involved in the sale of ThingWorks to PTC. There was another product he made that he sold to SAP and then went to SAP for a couple of years as a VP. Really influential guy, serial entrepreneur. He and I have a lot in common. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Rick. But you guys know me. It doesn't matter if I like you or not. It doesn't matter if I respect you or not. I'm always going to tell you the truth. Just because I like you doesn't mean I'm ever holding back on you, right? And so there are some things, that I had said in that video about Rick that obviously didn't sit right with him. They weren't intended to sit right with him, okay? And they were tend to point out some things. And what I had said was two things. Number one, I don't know what Rick's values or mission are, so I don't know if he's just a pure capitalist or whatever, and all the stuff he's writing in here, I don't know if it's driven to sell some other product. It turns out it's not. He and I had a bunch of private conversations, and he told me what his mission was and what his values were, and we're going to have him on the podcast. And there's a lot more synergy between me and Rick than one would think. And actually, we have really similar backgrounds. He went to college in upstate New York. We actually went to the same university. I don't think at the same time. I was only there for a year, but there's a lot. We have very similar backgrounds, but one of the things that I said about Rick was that Rick is part of the problem, and what I meant was I don't remember the product that he created for SAP. It was like light something or whatever.
Lighthammer development or something. Lighthouse.
Yeah, Lighthammer, and he sold it to SAP. SAP is part of the problem. They're not part of the solution. So if you're an innovative organization, I want to clarify what I said here, because I didn't mean to disparage Rick in any way. But let me say this. There's a company that I met with. I don't know if I can mention their name because I think I have an NDA with them. So I'm going to sorry, I want to mention their name, but I can't. There's this automation company out from California that is an Industry 4.0 company. Okay. They make a software suite where they make a bunch of drivers, and that's actually real value in the market. They can make drivers really, really, really fast. But they also have an Industry 4.0 platform that integrates natively edge to cloud learning, publish back to the edge, right? It's an amazing platform, and I love it. But I rarely mention this platform because I learned during the conversations that I had with the people who were running the company, my feeling was they're only building this company to sell it to one of the big automation companies. And so that's a crime. You know what I mean? It's like one of the very first questions I ask innovative companies. Steve Heckman, the number one thing I say to Steve every time I talk to him in inductive automation is, don't sell to Schneider, don't sell to Rockwell, don't sell to these huge companies, right? Because they're going to ruin your platform. Rick sold ThingWorx to PTC, and he's not happy with what PTC did with ThingWorx. He can't be, because there's great technology he put in there, like PubSub, that they took out. And why did they take PubSub out? Because they don't want fucking ThingWorx working, interoperating easily with every platform on the planet. They want to funnel you towards other PTC products and now other Rockwell products, okay? And so what I was saying about Rick was things that Rick has done in the past are part of the problem, and what we need are the innovators going forward to stop selling to these companies who exploit their customers. Full stop. Why anyone works with Rockwell? Michael Taudell. The why anyone works with Rockwell is beyond me. I don't understand it. No one likes working with Rockwell, and yet organizations still choose to do it, knowing that behind the scenes, Rockwell is focused on their share price. They're focused on what's in the best interest of Rockwell first. Okay? And it bothers me to no end. Okay? But let me say this. After talking with Rick privately, Rick is a believer, and he's a mission-based guy. He really is. And I'm really excited to get him on the podcast so that we can collaborate and share ideas. Because the only way we're going to change the industry is we start with our values and our mission first. If all we're going to do is take the expedient route, take the most profitable route first, right? And not focused on the most valuable route, which is a function of cost savings, mission, and other efficiency calculations. You want to take the most valuable route, not the most expedient or the cheapest, okay? The most expedient or the cheapest. And I think Rick is one of those guys. So I wanted to make sure I said that. All right, cool.